Hey, good buddies, what's up? Welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Review. I am your good buddy, Roger.
And I am your good buddy, Brandon.
And this is the week that we do it for your boy, your good buddy, Brandon.
Yay.
We're talking about Kaguya-Sama, Love is War, Love is War, Love is War.
It's my favorite. I loved it. It was my favorite this past season.
Yeah,
so
it was
good.
really good, man. It's a cute show. And I think that our scores will probably reflect that it is, in fact, really great. It was one of the many really great anime from
There's a lot of good
winter
stuff this season, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down this here show. We're going to talk a little bit about it, keep it as spoiler-free as possible, and we're going to give you a final score and a review of recommendation.
Yeah.
Now, Roger, let me ask you something. If you hated this program, just for example, what would you say? What would you call that?
I'd call it an anime, maybe not.
If it was, it was pretty bad, but it wasn't like the worst.
Anime.
What if it was average? It was okay.
Maybe.
It's actually pretty good though. It's actually pretty decent.
It's animals, definitely.
But if it was awesome, Roger, if it was so good,
of course, that is animazing, my dude.
that is what we would call them. And we're also gonna get there by scoring it on a few different categories, 5 different categories, possible 2 stars each for a total of 10 stars. Excuse me.
10 stars.
10 stars. Kitten star. All right.
That's how math works.
That is how math works. So, Roger, what's the first category we're gonna talk about?
The story and setting,
Second category.
the characters and development,
Número 3.
the art and animation,
And number 4.
the soundtrack,
And 5.
that je ne sais quoi.
That good buddies wiggle room, that je ne sais quoi. Roger, what does that mean?
I don't know what.
I don't know what. But yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna get on into it right now. And you want? Yeah, I'm doing a little breakdown.
I'm gonna let you do it this week, and then I'm gonna
Since
do
I-
it next week.
Of course you are. All right.
Hey,
so
it makes sense because they were both of our.
We
favorite
both really
animes.
enjoyed these shows respectively. Mm-hmm. I think we both like them a bit. Each of us like them respectively. All right.
Yeah.
So this one's mine though. Kaguya-Sama Love is War is it's pretty much a straight up slice of life with a very I would call it a Death Note-esque feel to it, a little bit of a vibe, because it's a lot of this playing off of each other. It's basically the story of the titular Kaguya-Sama, who is the vice president of her school, and she's the vice president to the president, who is Mr. Shirogane. They are both top of the class, brilliant kids. They're freaking great. Shirogane consistently actually places slightly above her in the class rankings and whatnot, grade-wise.
Yeah.
Kaguya is actually a freaking straight-up trillionaire heiress. Her family runs the whole world, apparently. And she's got money out the butt, which is where it comes from. Now, the real crux of the show, though, is that they are both so hot for each other.
Yeah.
But they refuse to admit it, because to admit it, to confess your love, would be a sign of weakness to these people.
You would be admitting defeat.
They are so prideful, these
You'd be
two.
so kawaii.
Jesus Christ. Yes, you would indeed be. And so they refuse to admit it to each other. They are trying so hard to get the other to admit it to them. And that is the crux of the show. It is constantly them at odds with each other, trying to fool the other one, trick the other one into somehow confessing their love, and both of them being way too prideful to do so themselves. And that's where it comes down to.
Yeah.
It is similar, I've said before, to, and a lot of people have said, to the like L and Light thing. In Death Note, where they are constantly like one up each other, getting around each other. Yes,
it's a tactical schoolhouse rom-com.
It's so freaking good. And you also have some other characters we'll get to in a little bit, but that's the basic structure of it. So let's break on in. Let's talk about the story and setting. That's the basics.
Yeah.
Now beyond that,
That's the 101.
That's the 101, if you will. Yes, indeed. Beyond that, my favorite thing about it is how tactfully they do these things and whatnot. Like Kaguya is she plans everything like days, sometimes weeks even in advance to try and like get the drop on this kid, whereas Shirogane, we find, is like a master of just in the moment, off the dome, if you will, just coming up with something to get him out of whatever situation. It's quite good. Setting wise, it takes place mostly in this school, which I actually thought was a pretty good move, because it's like a lot of it is because they go to such an elite school, you get a few moments, one episode in particular, where like they have straight up visitors from a foreign school from freaking France or something, and they have this very fancy party, like a ballroom kind of thing, and you get some really great scenes there.
Shuchin Academy is the name of the school.
Shuchin Academy, yes indeed. Pretty great stuff. You got anything to add about story and setting, bud?
It's really fun, and the tactical aspect between it's awesome. It's like really refreshing. And the way all the characters interact, they all feel very different. And I mean, we'll touch more on that on the characters.
Yeah, very much.
But from a story standpoint, they are so each individual, even some of the smaller characters, are so valuable to getting everything going forward. And the show plays out pretty much through the course of a semester. But, I mean, you could pretty much dip in at any point and be okay.
Yeah, the way it's structured is like not unlike some other shows we talked about, like Chiyosuku or Asobase, where it's like these 2 to 3
little shorts,
little like vignettes in each thing, and very
not to say that it's a short style anime or anything. It's a full 24.
Yeah, and the thing I really like about it is that despite being like story, like this very structured thing, these stories do feed into each other.
Yeah.
At times, like toward the end, even it's like straight up between episodes, like straight up part 1, part 2 kind of thing. But like whenever something happens, like it gives you like a little moment in between, and then it goes on to the next story, and they still, like, even from 3 episodes ago, here's a moment that, ties into that in a later episode. It's pretty cool the way they managed to structure it like that. I really love this show.
Yeah, it's really great. I like it a lot.
You want to move on?
Yeah, man, let's hit those characters and development.
Tell me about it.
So we have Kaguya-Sama. Yeah, there it is.
Shinomiya. That's it.
I'm gonna butcher these last names, but
I was just rewatching episode, I think 7, where the whole joke is that she can't deal with dirty jokes, and that's Shimonetta. Okay, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shinomiya. Kaguya-Shinomiya.
Yep. So she is the vice president, as we said. She's
so great.
Yeah, she's part of she's a daughter of a large business conglomerate owner, a CEO. And she's
Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, she's Steph. That's pretty good, except, well, hell, that's really good. Damn, that's good. However, without spoiling anything, I think Stephanie and Vince's relationship is a little different. But
not much, maybe. We'll see.
She does plan things well in advance.
Yes, very much so.
And she is also very concerned with her appearances in public.
Yes.
She's very concerned with, how one should talk and, what one should discuss or what is smutty and not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beyond that, she's also
kind of prudish.
She's also very sheltered, which
she
is why
extremely sheltered.
Yes, very much.
And
so.
they definitely dive into that, and it's pretty cool.
There's a whole episode where she has, through a number of different devices and whatnot, tricked. Like this is more so like how like partially sheltered, but also just like at times clueless she is. She tries so hard to get Shirogane to get a cell phone, and he does, so that she can try to trick him into asking for her number. And then realizing, oh, she's got a little flip phone. She can't even use this line app that they're. Yeah,
that she actually is very. They describe her as more of an analog usage.
Yes,
person.
very much so.
She doesn't.
She gets a Twitter later and doesn't know how that works.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And she sweats over everything.
Yes,
her and Shirogane both. But yeah, she's a really, really sweet character. You can tell that she's bonding with all these people.
Yes, very much so.
And you feel the very real bond between these friends. And that's what makes her great. And she kind of has, like, her looks and appearance. She kind of has like that dark princess.
Yeah, she's got big red eyes, dark hair.
Yeah, everybody kind of has like that little tropey look to them, and I mean, I believe that was the full intention.
Yeah. You get several moments where you see like flashbacks of her like in middle school where she kept her hair down and long, and she straight up she like always had this dead look on her face, like don't fuck with me kind of thing. Whereas now she's very like tsundere looking character. They called her like the ice princess or something. They even mentioned in a couple episodes. Whereas now, when the story's taking place, she keeps her hair up. She usually like has a smile on her face. You still don't want to fuck with her, but she's at least nicer about it.
Yeah.
Shirogane, like on the other side.
Let's bump into Shirogane.
What's his full name?
Miyuki Shirogane.
That's it. He's like a real down to earth, salt of the earth type. He actually, you find out, I think I think his grandpa works on a farm. He's a fairly commoner like household that he comes from.
Not very wealthy or anything. He's very blue collar.
Yeah, but he's
his brain sets him apart.
Brilliant dude. He's always working on something, always thinking. He's very
and
quick-witted.
he has that style that you would find in other anime characters. Like his actual look is very similar to some like military commanders, like
yes,
like Char from Gundam. He looks very similar to them. What is Lowengram? He looks very similar to Lowengram from
he's like got this
Legend of Galactic Heroes.
This like fairly well kempt hair. His shoulders are squared off. He's got that gold chain signifying that he is the president. Like little button,
the rope.
The little gold rope across the front of his jacket. My dude he just looks so slick.
Yeah. And he's very serious.
He's very serious, but he's also like much kinder, I would say, than Kaguya. He's easier to talk to. Kaguya's a very sweet girl once you get to know her, but this guy's slightly more approachable, despite looking so militaristic even.
Yeah, he cares about the people around him, as
Indeed. My favorite thing about this show,
he's tied to his convictions.
Yeah, very much so. My favorite thing about these characters, though, and the way that they portray those two in particular, is that the whole story is about them struggling against and with their own feelings and with each other and those feelings. And the way they do that is you will see them talking. You see them externally. You see all this stuff, what they are doing and how they are acting. And then you get their inner monologue where they are losing their shit because, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, it's a full-blown meltdown.
It's just, and it's night and day, dude. That was one of the things that in the first couple episodes really struck me, is the Kaguya in particular, her voice actress, like being like, oh yes, blah blah blah, and then like just internally, oh my fucking God, what's happening? Like losing her shit. It's so good. The way it just that light cuts on and off so quickly. It's very, very well done. Meanwhile, you also have Chika Fujiwara, I believe.
Yeah, Chika is
you
might be familiar with her even if you haven't seen the show with the Chika dance.
Yeah, it's amazing. She's freaking great. She is the secretary for the student council. She's this just adorable pink-haired little ball of sugar, and she comes across slightly ditzy, kind of an airhead. She is in fact also incredibly brilliant.
She is the busty pink-haired girl. That's who she is.
She is a little bit.
Yeah,
and she's
that's her trope.
She's incredible. She's also like, at times, like she's usually like super sweet and like so nice to everybody. At times she is ruthless. There's one episode in particular where her and Shirogane and the character we're about to talk about play a game of cards, and my God, she is so underhanded and ready to just cheat any way she can to win this game. It's incredible to watch. Like, it's a whole side of her that you wouldn't catch at first.
And it's really great too, because through the whole thing she keeps a smile on her face, but you can tell that smile gets more and more like it starts curving and stuff like that to convey the emotion. It's really good.
It's really good.
Chika is she's great. She provides a lot of the comic relief of the like so. When the tension and stuff is happening between Shirogane and Kaguya, she pops in, and a lot of her interactions causes comic relief.
Absolutely.
Or breaks up a dispute or whatever. Maybe she'll slide in, take a bite of cake. Who knows?
Yeah.
She does all sorts of goofy things. She's very goofy.
She's also perfect and has never done anything wrong.
I love her.
What's our treasurer? I forget his name.
His name is Yu Ishigami.
Ishigami, yes. This dude is
He's hilarious.
He is the town sad sack. He is. Yeah. He's so depressed.
He is the saddest sack of them all.
He's the saddest sack I've ever seen. He's a real sad sack. He also has a side to him that comes out every now and then where he doesn't mind joking, and he sometimes gets a little...
He gets heated.
He gets a little risque sometimes.
Yeah.
That episode I was just talking about, episode 7, there's a whole bit where he's just talking about bust sizes.
Yeah.
And my God, it's perfect. He's a little bit of a goofball. He's slightly taller than Shirogane, I think. He's got dark hair. Just looks sad all the time.
Yeah.
He is the treasurer. He's brilliant, very smart, constant calculations,
numbers,
very quick. And he's so bummed out. A big thing with him is that he is constantly and pretty much always by accident, he is on Kaguya's bad side.
Right.
And he's so sure that she wants him dead.
Yep.
Which is it's a big character point with this guy, and I love him. Those are our main 4 characters. There are others who pop in and out, other students. There's one more that we have to talk about, and that is the voiceover. the main, like, this announcer voice who at times will explain things that's happening. The show starts with him, like, explaining the whole idea.
He drops down that monologue for you.
Yeah, the monologue voice, yes. He's amazing. I love him. And the other thing is that at the end of each of these little vignettes, these little mini episodes within the episode, he gives you a final, here's who won, here's who lost, something. Because the whole show is about, particularly Kaguya and Shirogami, in competition to try and, get over on each other.
But sometimes it splices in other
Sometimes it throws
too.
in other stuff. And it's not always like, okay, this one won, that one lost, this one lost, this one won. Sometimes the episode ends with like,
they both lose.
They both lose, or they both win.
Yeah.
Or there's one in particular where like there's no real competition or anything. It's just Shirogami. It ends up with him like being happy that something's happening. So it's like, oh, he won. No one lost. It's just he won. He feels good.
Yeah.
And that's fun. It's like stuff like that. It's really great. One thing we do have to talk, I think we should talk about right now, is how this show is a mile a minute. There's so many jokes.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to pause every now and then to just read what's happening, because my guy, it is constant. It is a stream of consciousness that is constantly dropping, and it is so
freaking
good.
quick. I was gonna touch on that a little more.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to that.
But it is
that's
quick.
I only bring it up there because some of it comes from that narrator who is just boom, 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 joke, 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 explaining stuff. And if you're not quick enough, you will miss everything and be like, okay, I missed something.
And sometimes
but
he's
so
talking,
good.
and they're talking,
and there's a lot of text on the screen. And there's text that it's also showing a translation for, so it's like there are 80 jokes happening and I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Let me pause. Okay. Pause. Okay, we're good.
Yep. You want to get onto that art and animation?
Let's talk about it. It's so fucking clean.
It is clean. And one thing I would say is that, like I said, everybody's kind of designed to look pretty tropey.
Yeah.
And it does that well. But on top of a trope, can you really commend that? Maybe. But what you can commend in this show, in my opinion, are the freaking backgrounds.
The backgrounds are pretty.
They're excellent.
They're very good.
They do all sorts of crazy like experimental effects with them, whether it be super staticky stuff or like pages from a book ripping out.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's even hard to like notice that it's happening because it happens so regularly. They put a lot of time in whatever's happening in the background, and then you'll just have your static characters arguing over it or something like that.
Yes. It's very well done.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive, and that was one of my favorite things, catching all those little. I always kept my eyes open for what was going on in the background, because they mix it up so often.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, man. One thing that you mentioned that I want to touch on is how the character designs, like you said, they're kind of tropey, and I would agree with that.
Yeah.
If you look at these two main characters, you're gonna have a pretty good idea instantly who they are and what they do. And I think that's one, good character design, but two, I think it's interesting because you then throughout watching it get to see them subvert these things you thought about them, and that's. I've said on episode 0, that's what I'm into, baby.
Sure.
I hate me a stereotype or a trope. I love watching it get twisted around and swapped, and it's very well done.
From a standalone
purely art
visual
style,
aspect, I mean, it's
still well done, I would say.
Yeah, it's well done. However, I would say that you could look at it, any character,
a
and be
little
like,
simplistic.
It's like
maybe.
Shirogane. You can look at it and be like, oh, that's Char.
Yeah.
From Gundam.
I could see that.
Yeah, and that would be my only, like, it's not even a complaint, really. It's just something that I feel like I need to say.
I just
in case it's not caught, or some people are just not picking up on the fact that I think that it is. I can't say that with certainty. I haven't read anything that said, oh, these characters are tropes, and that's how you're supposed to read it. I don't know that. But I feel 95% sure that's how it is.
Sure. I would just say, like, last bit for the art, that it's just very clean. At times, there are moments when it's, like, shockingly dynamic. I didn't expect it to, like, this scene to be so smooth, or, like, how the animation is. It's very, very well done. It's those
backgrounds, man.
Those backgrounds are very good. And then in particular, like the opening we're about to talk about, and the ending, even and the episode 4 extra ending, the Chica dance. That the animation there is so good. That one in particular really blew me, because like
it really blew him.
It really blew me.
You sick freak.
You're gross. No, that one really got me, because the animation for it's so smooth and so interesting. Like, I was like, man, it looked. it kind of threw me off because like it looks like it's 3D animated or something, and then I actually saw a little behind the scenes thing. It's like, nah, baby, it was all rotoscoped. They straight up like they had someone dancing and then they drew on top of that, but like the skirt animations and everything, that was all hand drawn, and I'm like, man, it's crazy how good it looks.
Yeah, rotoscopic animation is really, that's that one that I talked about before, the Flowers of Evil or whatever.
Yes.
And the whole series is done in rotoscopic animation, and it is really, really crazy to look at.
It's wild, man.
But yeah,
it's so smooth.
It creates a really cool effect.
Let's get to the best part of the episode.
Soundtrack.
My personal favorite opening this year. I will say that as an overall whole, I will admit that we talked about it last week. I think that probably Mob Psycho 101's opening is a better opening overall. This was absolutely my personal favorite.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so smooth. The music is fucking incredible. I ordered and imported the fucking the first press run of the CD of the single. God, let me pull it up real quick so I can make sure I'm saying the name right, because it's going to be the first thing that pops up under my Amazon Music thing, because that's where I listen to it.
That's where you put it.
That's where I put it. Close this ad, pull this up. It's all in Japanese and I can't read it. Masayuki Suzuki is the artist. He is referred to, if you look him up, as the I think it's the king of love songs or something like that in Japan. He's freaking incredible. He sounds like Japanese Tom Jones. He absolutely destroys this song. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's called Love Dramatic, featuring Ihara Rika.
Yes, and it's so good.
It is good.
It's like my favorite
thing ever. It's really
interesting.
It's like a really. What makes it cool is it doesn't sound like another anime song.
The thing I really love about it is, like, one, it's not too often you get, like, I'm just saying, like, from shows I've watched recently, I can't remember too many that have, like, a male primary voice in the song. Second, it's, like, so clearly, like, it reminds me a lot. I keep saying, like, Tom Jones and what stuff like that. It reminds me of, like, this. And with the visuals and everything, of like one of those classic James Bond openings. Because there's bits where like you see these cards falling with characters on it. Yeah, there's like a bit where you see the two characters both like holding guns, like they're looking around them and their shadows spinning behind them, and then those shadows turn into the other character behind them, like with their gun behind their back. It's really everything
cool.
about it's just so cool.
It's really, really cool.
I was really, really into this one. Just instantly, like, I got that far into the first episode and I was like, I love this forever.
Yeah.
It's quite well done. The ending is quite good as well.
The ending is called Sentimental Crisis by Halka.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's good. It's got your more typical
more typical
vocals, but
anime
it's a really good song.
Ending, I would say.
It's very catchy, good. It's very melodic. I quite like the song. I listen to it every time.
And of course, we have to mention one more time the episode 4 special ending, the Chica Dance.
Yeah. Also, the interstitial music is good.
It's very good. I was gonna say that as well. There's bits where like one I was just looking over a second ago, where like it'll go to this like kind of close up of one character and like their internal monologue being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he remembered that or something, and it plays this like really sweeping like beautiful dramatic like piano music. There's a bit where Chica's talking where it has just this very like chill like it's like this just chill ass piano. It's all
my
the little
favorite,
music's in between are very good.
My favorite is whenever they go into it kind of gets into the awkward portion of the argument. It's coming to a close, and there's like a ska lick that kicks in.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's got the distorted upstrokes.
You start skanking, bro?
Yeah.
Oh no, he's doing it. He's doing it right now.
I'm doing it.
Sami Zayn just ran it.
Yeah. It's great, man. It's really great. I thought I can't say that I caught a lot of it or like I remember a ton of it, but that ska song I definitely remember. I was like, this is awesome. Every time it comes on, something funny's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's really
it's boiling over at that point.
It's just
it's
so
really good. It's really good. It's a good soundtrack.
Indeed.
Let's go on to
It's that
Je ne sais quoi. Man, we blasted through that stuff faster than I feel like we usually do. Maybe I didn't.
It's pretty quick.
Maybe it was just so much fun that time.
It's pretty quick.
Do you want to go through Je ne sais quoi first?
Yeah. I would just say that, like, overall, I was absolutely in love with the show from minute one. Everything about it just really hit me. It's fun. It's funny. It's a joke. It's a mile a minute with jokes and whatnot, which is like my favorite kind of show. I've talked, I don't think on this show before, but like one of my favorite American shows, just because it has a billion jokes a second, is Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law, which is just a constant joke, and there's so much happening you're gonna miss something and rewatch it 8 times, which is what I did with this one. It's just so good. There's so much happening. It's hilarious. Furthermore, I would just say that I don't know. It's just a really fun show. Everything about it just really hit me just the right way.
Yeah, I personally really like the show too, and I'm glad that I waited before the review to go over it, because I don't know, it's really fresh in my mind, and I think I'm more excited about it now because it was really good, and it had a sweet little ending and even a hint to maybe a possible season 2, which has not been confirmed.
I would really hope so, because
it's doing very well. And
as I mentioned previously on the show that when we were talking about it in a ramble, I think that I don't know for sure if it's completely done or not, but in the manga we have hit that moment where the whole show is you're waiting for a thing to happen, and a thing happens.
Yeah.
So we have a conclusion enough, and yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's very cute with a bunch of likable characters, and the characters are all fleshed out very well. There's not a single character in here that you don't get a feeling for.
Very much so.
They do a really good job of that.
These, there's a couple of students who come in every now and then just to get advice, and even them, these 1/3 of an episode for each of them, you get a real great feel for them. I would also say that as we've said before, despite it being we don't get the full-on conclusion here at the end of the season, we get a very good ending for it, I would say.
Yeah,
it's quite well done.
It leaves it kind of closed but kind of open, just in case, which
I
like.
Damn cute.
Yeah, it almost feels like this one knows that maybe it'll be getting that second season.
God, I hope so.
I mean, it's everybody is talking about it. It was really well done. And I imagine, I would think, now I'm not certain, but I would think this one would get a second, but I've thought that before and been wrong. However, this one tied up really nice. I liked it a lot. But if I were to say if I had one critique for it, and you mentioned this earlier, and I mentioned it, it's just how fast it goes.
It goes very fast.
It goes very fast, and if I were to recommend this to some people, if you don't, it doesn't have a dub, and as far as I know, it's not getting a dub.
I would bet money it does get one, but I mean, we're guessing. This is all speculation.
I would think if it was getting a dub, it would have one by now, or at least the first episode would be out. I don't know that, because even Funimation, who does the majority of the dubs, they have the sub on there.
Yeah,
it's subbed. But and that might have been some deal with Crunchyroll and all that shit rolling out. I don't know that for sure.
Hey man, we'll get there.
However, currently, I couldn't if you aren't fond of reading subs or whatever, this is going to be hard for me to recommend to you because it does move so damn fast.
It does indeed.
And that would be the only critique that I have for this show. Let's get into those scores, dude.
All right, let's hit it. How do you feel about the story and setting?
I give it a 1.5.
I also gave it a 1.5.
All right.
How about that characters and development?
I gave it the full 2 points.
Full 2 points. Art and animation?
I gave it 1 3/4. 1.75.
Oh Jesus, Roger, we're doing this now?
Why? It's a quarter point.
You're going quarter points?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I couldn't justify giving it a full 2, but those backgrounds are so damn good.
My dude's given negative points before. Now he's going.
The characters are all styled to look like other characters. It's not that original visually.
Yeah, all right.
However, the backgrounds are really great. So I thought 1.5 wasn't enough, but 2 was too much. So boom, 1.75. You go.
I'm not gonna give you too much shit. I'm giving you a little bit of shit because you're going 7.5s on it. I'm like, Jesus, we're doing this. But I'm not gonna give you too much shit because I struggled a lot with this one. I had a similar thing. I didn't want to give it a 1.5. I didn't want to give it the 2. I didn't split the difference. I ended up going 1.5.
1.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about the music and soundtrack?
Soundtrack, I gave 1.5.
I went solid 2 on that one.
Solid 2?
I loved it.
Makes sense. It was really good. Not everything I would say was for me. Like the interstitial stuff wasn't as memorable, but it did have the really awesome ska beat.
It did have that sweet ska track.
It was certainly good.
And how about that je ne sais quoi?
That je ne sais quoi, I took 0.5 off for how fast it goes, knowing that I couldn't recommend it to everybody, but it got a solid 1.5 from me.
I gave it a 2.
2. So that takes me up to 8.25. That's a very low and amazing.
I gave it a 9. Straight up 9.
Yeah, 9. Perfect. Right on and amazing.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, you could say mine somewhere in between Animos definitely and amazing, but I would call it an amazing. It was really good.
2.5, this guy.
Hey, man. I couldn't come to a decision on it, so I was like, that seems pretty fair. I'm gonna knock it up an extra quarter point.
When we someday have a Wikipedia page that has all of the shows we've reviewed and all of our ratings for them,
You know,
your shit's gonna be like docked points, quarter points, etc.
that's fine. And I can tell you, dude, I don't know that I would have thought of doing something like this if you hadn't mentioned last week about going to .99.
Oh no, come on.
I don't know that I would have, whenever you said that, I was like,
These are jokes.
I was like,
These are
man,
jokes.
you really could go extra points there. You could squeeze.
Jesus.
So there it is, dude. There it is.
No. I've opened a horrible can of worms. I'm sorry.
I feel like it was better to give it more points than less. So
you
there
monster.
we go.
Okay.
I think it's just you feel bad because you gave it less. You're like,
I gave it.
I should have given that 1.75.
Yeah, straight up 9. I feel like that's fair.
I give it an 8 and 8.25. So there we go.
8 3/5,
dude. You know what time it is?
Oh no! So next week we're gonna talk about
Domestic Girlfriend.
Jesus
Christ.
Yeah, the show that has been described as hentai without the hentai.
The review of the century.
Jesus,
it's coming in hot, and your good buddy's ready to talk about it. Cause man, if you didn't know by now, I freaking loved that anime.
You're a monster.
Yeah, man.
Let's
and if you're considering watching it or maybe tuning in for the review, I will tell you right now that if you read something or you hear a lot of people talking about it, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's an incest anime." It's not. There's no chroma. No chroma.
Jeez. No chroma.
No chroma.
This is what we're doing.
It's great. I'm super stoked
so much.
to tell you, good buddies. Brandon hates it so much, but I can't imagine that his score is going to be all that low on it.
Oh, just hanging out with my stepsister. No chromo. Like,
no chromo,
fuck you,
baby.
Man. Oh, you're a monster. You didn't come up with that.
No, I didn't.
Oh, no.
I read it online.
Jesus
and I was like,
Christ.
that is hilarious.
I'm so sad about everything.
But I don't have somebody to give credit to it. So.
All right, well.
Thank you, good buddies, for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Please, if you're listening to the podcast, give us 5 stars, leave us a review, ask us a question if you want. If you're watching this on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe, ring that bell so we can ding your dong, and check out the links in the description below for all the cool stuff. Shout out to our homie Haas for the ending music you're about to enjoy if you're watching this on YouTube.
The buddy's good.
The buddy's good.
He's a great guy. Great song.
So good.
Excellent.
But we'll see y'all in the ramble or next episode, however you feel to do it, and we'll talk to you later. Love ya.
Goodbye.